see here. So I have poor internet, so we will see how good this runs. If I fade out or anything like that, just comment below and let me know if I fade out by any chance. Good morning. I would love to know who's jumping on and so I know who's here. I just mentioned that I have poor internet, so if I fade out, will you just let me know so I can fix it? So today is all about emotional eating. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I myself went through that. So I had been really restrictive with my diets growing up, especially in college. I went from being vegan, and all of a sudden I thought that I needed to be raw vegan. And then I went to the point of counting calories, being restrictive with my food. And then I had jumped from that to then being really restrictive with wanting to be like the bikini bodybuilder shape. And so I would go from, I can't remember the exact calories, but it would slowly like decrease the calories and then also change the macro ratio. And so I was really disciplined. And then after that transition, I had totally been fed up with nutrition and I was sick of diets. I wanted nothing to do with basically counting the calories, looking at what I was eating or anything like that. And then I transitioned to where I was just eating a lot of food and using that to also deal with maybe stress or fatigue. Like I would use things to help with my energy levels. So if you have been there too, put that in the comments saying, yes, this is me, because I feel like this is very common with women, especially. We have so like a variety of hormones that range up and down, that our hormones do affect how we deal with our emotions. And so a lot of us think that with cutting or stopping the emotional eating, we need to be disciplined to be able to do that. But I think that discipline can actually cause even more problems in the end. So when it comes to emotional eating, instead of being disciplined, like, oh, I need to just get rid of everything in the house, or I need to make a batch cooking and have this every day, what really needs to happen is we need to be aware of where this pattern is coming from. So being aware of the emotions that are triggering this pattern for you to grab maybe those chips, or if it's cookies, whatever it is. Some people have a salt craving, some may have a sugar craving. And so being aware of those patterns is really important. So the first thing that I would recommend is to have a journal with you. I talk about how important journals are, and this is another good thing to do because it helps you with your awareness. So let's say you are coming home after work and you grab that bottle of wine, or if you like beer, whatever that is. And if you're noticing that you're using that to help with the stress at work, maybe write that down. Like, where is this pattern coming from? Are you, like, what are you feeling during this instance? Why are you grabbing that bottle? Are you thinking it's going to help you feel better? Write down even how you felt before and after having that. Just kind of being aware of those feelings and those patterns can be really important. And then once you're being aware of what these patterns are, that can kind of help you in this transition to just be like, okay, this is the emotion that I'm going through. So next you want to kind of help with releasing that emotion. So there are a lot of techniques that help with our emotions. And so one of them is breathing techniques or exercises. So you can slow down your breath or increase your breath, which can affect your emotional state. So One of the breathing exercises I like to do is the Wim Hof if you're needing more energy. So if you're feeling really fatigued, the Wim Hof method is a really good breathing technique that you can use. Just Google that or YouTube it. If you need more information on the Wim Hof, I'll actually type that here right now. Wim Hof method. Okay. And then you can also do like straw breathing, which is like this. So that can also increase the breathing or the energy. You can also just kind of do slower breaths. So a deeper inhale and exhale that can like slow down if you're feeling anxious or anything like that. So breath work is great, important. And then for women especially, like breathing into the womb can really help. So making sure your belly expands all the way and letting that go. You can also circulate your breath with an open mouth and trying to imagine like a golden ball like circulating throughout your body from your pelvis up your spine all the way up into like your forehead area. So that's another way to kind of being aware of your breath. Another tip that I would recommend when it comes to your emotions is maybe noticing what are things that are causing you stress and what are some things that are triggering this emotion. So you can write down, like grabbing a sheet. I mentioned this in an earlier video, but taking a sheet, folding it in half, writing all the things that are bad in your life that are causing some emotions. Maybe it's a coworker, a relationship, maybe it is the type of environment you live in, maybe it's like the city itself, or maybe it's something else that's causing. Maybe if you notice if you have too much caffeine, maybe that could be causing it. So just being aware, writing those all down. So then once you have a list, you're going to pick your top 5 that are causing you some emotional distress and making a plan of how to get rid of those in your life. Then on the other side, you're going to write down all the things that are good that bring you joy in your life. Maybe it's dancing, exercising, breath work, or going out in nature, hanging out with friends, going to my favorite coffee shop, whatever that is. Then pick again the top 5 and then see how you can make a plan to make more of that happen in your life. So that way we're reducing those things in our life that are causing these emotional triggers. The next would be adequate sleep. So what time do you go to bed? What is your nighttime routine look like? Do you relax with a book, some candles, a bath, or are you someone that watches TV, is on their computer? What does that look like? So seeing what time we go to bed, how do we go to bed, what's the type of environment we sleep in, what's the bed you sleep in, do you live in an area that has a lot of fluorescent lights on the outside, and are you blocking those lights with some black curtains or whatever that is? And having an awareness of how much sleep you get. Are you sleeping throughout the night? Do you get up during the night? So that could be also causing some hormonal shifts as well as triggering that emotional eating as well. And then of course, another one is going to be exercise. A lot of us have been told exercise can help with reducing stress or helping with our hormonal levels. But a lot of us do have a hard time wanting to exercise and do the typical go to the gym, lift some weights, do the treadmill, whatever. So find movement that you enjoy doing. Maybe it's just taking a walk outside with your dog. It could be going on a trail and doing a hike. It could be dancing. It could be whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't have to be going to the gym. Just take one small step at a time and find something that works for you. Then the next thing is looking at our food and our diet. So this is where I can give you the most value, I think. So sugar and salt cravings can be pretty typical. If you're someone that is dealing with chronic fatigue and you're noticing that you're really exhausted and you're craving those salty foods, I would actually recommend having more salt in your diet because you're probably having lower sodium levels. And so instead of grabbing maybe pretzels or chips or something like that, another alternative for high salty foods could be seaweed, for example, maybe some salted nuts. There are also like hot peppers are actually higher in sodium levels. Um, those are just some ideas. I don't know if I have some other ones written down over here. Let's see. Oh, and olives. Olives are a great source of sodium levels for sodium. So those are some great options to go for if you are craving those salty foods. If it is sugar, for example, cravings, um, instead of just giving you like a broad overview of what that can look like, you may have to look underneath the hood and see what your DNA is telling you. You could be someone that just has a gene that you are more wanting to have certain type of foods, or you're craving certain type of foods, or maybe you have genes where it's even hard for you to stop eating. But that's just one idea, is to get a DNA test and someone that can read your DNA. But if you do want that general tip, of course, like increasing your protein intakes can really help with those sugar cravings. So you might want to take a look at how much protein you're eating throughout the day and what type of proteins you're eating. So your lean meats are really important. Also, fish, maybe eggs, yogurt, those are all great sources of protein, and making sure you're getting those consistently throughout the day. And that can help with those sugar cravings. That is something that really helped me actually when I was in college. I increased my protein a lot and I didn't have any sugar cravings or any alcohol craving or anything like that. So increasing your protein can really help. And then taking a look at the type of vegetables that you're consuming. So anti-inflammatory vegetables can be really helpful for this. Also, maybe some vegetables that are higher in B vitamins. So these vegetables are going to be your cruciferous vegetables. So those that are in the cabbage family, so bok choy, broccoli, cabbage, also wasabi, also radishes and kale. So you can look that up and get the whole list of those. And then with cruciferous vegetables, you actually want to eat those raw. So if you can make like a slaw or a salad, or if you're not someone that likes to eat raw cruciferous vegetables, you can either do a mix of them, both cooked and raw, or you can do the hack and hold method where you cut them up for about 60 to 90 minutes before eating them. So a way you can do this is either get the prepackaged salad mix that has kale, arugula, or what you can do is if you buy that produce, you can cut it right when you buy it and just prep it and have it like in a bowl and ready to go when you want to cook it. Or you can do the other method where you can cook it and then add some mustard seed powder over your vegetables so that it'll reactivate the enzyme. So those are some tips there. The B vitamins that will help with this as well would be foods like beets. Again, the seaweed would be one. And then there might be some other ones, but those are the best options for you. You can even include nuts and seeds that have B vitamins, so like Brazil nuts, sesame seeds, and also sunflower seeds. So those are some tips to help with any cravings that you may have. And just taking a look at your overall view of what's your stress levels, sleep, exercise, your diet. If you're wanting more assistance with helping with those sugar cravings, you may need someone to work with that can help you with maybe your mindset or mindfulness. If it's maybe a trigger that's in the house, like let's say you have family members that enjoy having sugars, maybe you have a trigger that is triggering that onset of wanting to have some of that. So you may need to work with someone to kind of help with those triggers or those behaviors or conditioning patterns. But I'm just giving you an overall helpful tips because I'm not working with you one-on-one, but this can be helpful for just helping you with any of those sugar cravings. And of course, the last one that I forgot to mention is looking at your caffeine intake. So if you are consuming a lot of caffeine, you might be having high amounts of cortisol that's being released, and then after a long period of time, the cortisol is not going to be as effective and you're going to get adrenal fatigue. So that could be another trigger that might be causing those feelings of wanting to eat sugar. And also lifestyles, like if you smoke cigarettes or drink a lot of alcohol or things like that, that can also be triggering that as well. So if you are needing some more help on this, just let me know and we can work together in getting that set up for you. I didn't have any homework today for any of you, so if you feel like you want to share something about your behaviors when it comes to any cravings, that would be lovely to share with the group, but you don't have to. So this was the last video for today, so I want to thank you guys. I'm only going to keep these videos up for one more week, so come next week on Friday, I'm going to be taking these videos down. That way we can just keep up with new content, and just make sure to watch those if you haven't yet. So thank you so much and have a lovely rest of your Friday and your weekend.